We are from Group 9 and we are going to talk about revising the existing amendment on child marriage. In many regions of the world, child marriage had remained as a common practice, even though that the world is changing quickly. Sad is, child marriage is a gloomy reality that the rarely thought about. The official or informal unions of a child under the age of 18 with or without their consent is known as a child marriage. The tradition, which has been in existence for a long time, is one of the most frequent causes of child marriage. According to Rina, the Minister for Women, Families and Community Development in Malaysia, each year an average of 1,500 youngsters from different religion, ethnic group and communities that will get married. The purpose of this research is to raise awareness about the detrimental effect this has on young girls both physically and mentally. It also to educate young girls about the right they have in refusing to take part in arranged marriage, often involving older partner. Next, I will pass to my group mate who did interview at Taylor's University.
Hi everyone, now I'm interviewing one of Taylor's students. What is your name?
My name is Semasa and I'm from the A-Levels program.
Now I'm going to ask the 5 questions about child marriage. The first question is, why do parents agree for the child marriage?
Parents usually agree for child marriage when they don't earn that much money, and they usually tend to sell off their child to another family, and they usually use when they're really desperate for money.
Okay, the second question is, why kids being forced to get married at such a young age?
Again, to help the parents' financial situation most of the time. Or sometimes because unexpected teen pregnancies, that could be another reason for child marriage.
Okay, for the third question, do you know how common is child marriage?
Not really. I know it's common in some places, but it's not common in other places.
Okay, the fourth question is, do you think child marriage should be legal?
I think that child marriage should be legal.
The last question is, what would it cost to end child marriage? What would it take to end child marriage?
I think a lot of government intervention is needed to stop child marriage. And new laws, I think it's needed to stop child marriage.
Okay, thank you so much for
Thank you.
Can I know what's your name? Alright, okay. So today I'll be asking you a few questions here. You just answer based on your opinions. Okay. What is the difference between a child marriage and early marriage, and also a forced marriage? Maybe what do you think between a child, they get married below 18 years, and then a forced marriage by parents, and also an early marriage? So what do you think? Which one you think is a proper way? Why do you say that? Why do you think child marriage is harmful? Because they're not mature, is it? What do you think when the elder people, like our parents, what they do to put an end to the child marriage? And how do you think that poverty and child marriage are connected? brings a disadvantage to the children? Does it mean that maybe child marriage will... Thank you so much.
For this research project, we have chosen two types of research methodology, which are individual interviews and questionnaire surveys. For the individual interviews, 5 short answer questions were asked specifically for Taylor's University students to get different perspectives of opinion and gather information on the level of awareness for child marriages. Meanwhile, for the questionnaire surveys, the Google form that consists of 10 multiple choice questions was shared among 30 people to provide an efficient and affordable way to acquire data from respondents regarding the issue. The interviews were recorded. We had given a brief overall explanation of the research project that is being conducted on child marriages to the interviewees, with the aim to not only educate and bring awareness on child marriages, but also to give them a better understanding on the purpose of this research project. Most of the answers to questions that were asked in regards to the occurrence of child marriages involve financial issues by the parents of child that is in a child marriage, while another possibility for the occurrence for child marriages could be caused by teen pregnancies, which are minors who are unaware and uneducated on sex education. Based on our survey, 82.4% respondents are aware of child marriages issues in Malaysia, while another 8.8% stated that they were not aware and another 8.8% were not sure regarding this issue. As for the root cause of child marriage, 58.8% agrees that tradition and culture norms were the most reasons, while another 55.9% agrees with poverty and another 55.9% agrees to lack of access to education, while another 20.6% stated gender equality. Furthermore, we asked respondents' opinions on how they think this issue can be prevented, and some of the answers were overcome poverty and give equal opportunities for children to get education, educate people on why child marriage is bad, provide families with daughters with money or ways to get income, change gender norms so that girls won't feel inferior to men, supporting groups or organizations that stand up for girls' rights, increase public education and awareness, and enforce a new law against child marriage. Now I will be talking about the Western and Eastern philosophy take on child marriage. Western philosophy leans more towards individualism, whereas Eastern philosophy focuses on collectivism. It further discusses that Western philosophy uses a more hands-on approach, while Eastern philosophy is more spiritually inclined. Both philosophies, however, agree on righteousness and morality. Child marriages are regarded as problematic in an international legal framework. From the aspect of Western philosophy, it is seen as a religious and cultural practice that is often looked down upon in most parts of the world. Legally, it is still a crime and can be penalized in most countries. However, due to continuous advocacies from both victims and human rights associations, the United Nations has voiced out its concern for the future of children, especially young girls who have more risk as compared to young boys in terms of long-term physical health. Eastern philosophy defines child marriage as something sinful. It violates the fundamental principles of Islam, which calls for the respect for women. Denying rights to a woman or a young girl is considered irrational, based on outdated and cultural preconceptions, and merely aimed at maintaining unequal power relations and gender systems. Alas, it is still a common practice in Northeast Malaysia, Kelantan, where child marriages are practiced as a religious belief that prevents child from committing adultery activities. Nonetheless, effort on preventing and containing this issue from becoming a continuous problem in the future is being worked on by local and international advocates. According to our research, it makes sense to outlaw child marriage because it has so many detrimental effects on a person's life. Since child marriage is unlawful and is practiced by some cultures and customs, family, finances, and early pregnancies, it should be outlawed first and foremost. In those days, customs and traditions had to be observed minute by minute, but in the present day, we have left many traditions in the past. So why are some individuals unable to abandon the custom of child marriage? They need to use reason to decide what constitutes a logical tradition.
So to sum it up, based on our research, we think that child marriage has violates many of our very basic human rights. It repeatedly denies education to many brides as they are put into roles of being mothers and housewives. Therefore, they cannot express their thoughts, their rights to freedom, and a happy marriage is taken away as they are forced into something they have no control over. Not being able to set up for themselves, they lose hope in their potential and what they can become. Child marriage robs many young girls of their futures to becoming strong and educated. So that is all from our group. Thank you.